A Father's Legacy, burying Francis C. Kenel, February 26, 2014. I buried my father on Saturday. Well, technically we had a funeral mass for him, and come March, after he is cremated, we will transport his remains to Maryland, where he will be entombed in the tiny little cubicle wall crypt right next to Mom. The Mass was in a small Catholic church in the small town of Ripley, Mississippi, which is located in the northern part of the state. St. Matthew's is a congregation that Dad adopted and that adopted him right back. He moved to Mississippi after his health began to fail, and the decision was made for him to leave Maryland, which he had called home since 1970, and move down south so that he could live with my sister, who is a nurse. There are lots of trials and tribulations, stories humorous and horrifying, poignant and precious, detailing his time in the South. But today, I wish to concentrate on his congregation. His congregation makes it sound as though he were a pastor or deacon in the church, which he was not. But the folks that I have met at his church and those to whom I spoke the day of Dad's funeral made me feel so welcome and Dad so blessed that I refer to them as Frank's flock. In the Deep South, the Catholic religion is not the largest nor strongest Christian faith, and many times Catholics are viewed with suspicion by other Christians in that area. Add to that an aging population of white parishioners and a growing number of young Spanish-speaking Hispanic congregants, and it is easy to see how misunderstanding and suspicion between the old guard and the newly arrived sometimes creates less than open-hearted love for one another. But glory to his name, this was not the case in their open affection and far-reaching embrace of my father by both camps within his church. The changing face of Catholicism in the United States is not unique to Mississippi. Anglo church members tend to be older, pre-baby boom congregants, and their numbers are declining, even while membership within the Catholic Church is increasing in the USA. It is increasing because of an influx of Hispanics who bring youth, vitality, and great change to many congregations. Even open-minded, open-hearted people can balk when the face of something they have known and loved all their lives takes on new rituals. Masses are said in English at one service and Spanish another, and the old guard slowly but surely finds itself outnumbered by the newcomers. This is the milieu into which my father found himself inserted, and I cannot state strongly enough how proud, humble, and grateful I am to Dad, the parishioners of his generation, and the Latinos for their warm and loving embrace of my Yankee father and the desire, willingness, and ability to love one another. I found St. Matthew's a lovely and loving place. I made the 9.5-hour trek from my home in Cedar Rapids, Iowa to Dad's a few times in the 3+ years that he lived there. The visits were too few, too widely spaced, and too short of duration, but I did manage to attend Mass with Dad a couple times over the years. I met the old cronies, the white men and women that were born in the 1920s and 30s that were Dad's contemporaries, and mirror images when I visited, but I also attended the Spanish Mass with Dad and met the younger, more vibrant members of the congregation, Latinos, many of whom spoke almost no English or spoke haltingly, who embraced my father, both literally, spiritually, and as a community. Truly, the love they showed for my father was heartwarming. Change is the only constant is a phrase that precedes Jesus walking the earth by 500 years and is an oft-repeated phrase. We all must experience change, but doing so with an open mind and loving heart is a challenge that many of us are not up to. I rejoice that St. Matthew's and my dad did their best to find love in one another's company, differences, and commonality. When I visit my sisters, I'll be sure to stop by for a visit.